notice how some men vanish when things get hard, while others become louder, angrier, or obsessively helpful? It's not random. These are patterns. The overachiever who burns out chasing approval. The avoider who ghosts emotions until they explode. The nice guy who bends until he breaks. All different behaviors, but they are running the same hidden code. If I'm not needed, strong, or perfect, I'm nothing. That belief, it's invisible, but it drives everything. Relationships, careers, mental health. This video isn't about fixing men. It's about unmasking the pattern that's quietly running so many lives and replacing it with something more honest, more grounded, and way more powerful. What if the pressure to be enough could finally lift? This video reveals the root of that invisible weight and the path to lasting strength, not built on performance, but on something unshakable, inner power. Sounds soft? Weak? Maybe even unrealistic. That's what generations have been conditioned to believe, that emotions are liabilities, that validation must come from outside. But this isn't about giving up, it's about finally standing firm. In under a minute, get a raw, eye-opening perspective that flips the script on what it truly means to be a man in today's world, cutting through the noise and naming the real trap. Masculinity is being questioned, reshaped, redefined, online, offline, in homes, on stages. Never has there been more pressure, more confusion. This message lands right where it's needed. Now, this message doesn't come from theory or trend. It's forged from stories, psychology, and timeless wisdom. Not from a guru, but from a mirror, reflecting what has always been true beneath the surface noise. Have you ever felt it? That invisible pressure, tightening around you, dictating who you should be, what you should chase, how you should act. You've been told, subtly and not so subtly, what it means to be a man, what it means to be worthy. You've heard the whispers, the shouts, the well-meaning advice. Be strong, be successful, never show weakness, always provide, never go broke, hustle harder, get ahead. But here's the provocative question, the one that keeps you up at night. Has all that striving, all that chasing, brought you genuine peace? Or has it just piled on more pressure, leaving you feeling like an imposter in your own life? You've been taught that external achievement is the key to respect, to power, to manhood itself. But what if that very belief is the cage holding you back? What if the path they told you to follow leads not to freedom, but to a lifetime of performing for an audience that will never be fully satisfied? Imagine, for a moment, trying to build a fortress, a place of true security and strength, not on solid bedrock, but on shifting sand. You pour concrete, lay bricks, raise walls, but every tide, every storm, threatens to wash it all away because the foundation is weak, unstable. This is what it feels like when you build your sense of self, your definition of manhood, solely on external validation. On the size of your bank account, the approval of others, the appearance of having it all together. It looks impressive from the outside, perhaps, but internally, it's a constant, exhausting battle against the tide of judgment and expectation. The true foundation, the unshakable bedrock, is built not in the eyes of others, but within yourself. This isn't about rejecting ambition or responsibility. It's about where you anchor your worth. Is it tied to things that can be lost in an instant, or to something intrinsic, something that is you? Here is the contrarian thesis, the uncomfortable truth we must confront. The relentless, unexamined pursuit of external markers of success and validation isn't the definition of strength or manhood. It is, in fact, a form of self-imprisonment. It's a cage built from societal expectations, personal insecurities, and a misunderstanding of where true power resides. We are told to never underestimate ourselves, our abilities, our very being, because God never makes mistakes. And yet, how often do we live as if we are a mistake, constantly seeking external proof that we are enough? True power isn't about dominating others or accumulating things to impress. It's about mastering yourself, understanding your own value, and building a life from that place of inner knowing. This is the premise that will guide us. The cage of external validation is real, and the key to unlocking it lies within. You hold certain beliefs about what a man should be. These beliefs aren't entirely your own. They've been shaped by family, friends, media, culture. You believe you must constantly increase your capacity to handle difficulty, always fall forward, never fail. You believe a man without brains or financial stability will be frowned upon. You believe you must work your ass off to always remain financially afloat, doing anything and everything to make money. These aren't inherently bad principles, but why do you believe them? Is it from a place of genuine self-respect and a desire to contribute, or from a deep-seated fear of being looked down upon, of not measuring up in the eyes of other men, or even your own partner? You believe these external achievements are the source of respect, the shield against judgment. But what if that shield is made of glass, fragile and easily shattered by the slightest external shift? This constant striving for external validation comes at a steep personal cost. It manifests as anxiety, a persistent hum of not enough in the background of your mind. It breeds self-doubt, making you question your every move unless it's met with external approval. It leads to exhaustion, a feeling of running on a hamster wheel, expending immense energy just to stay in place, never truly moving towards a destination you chose. You might be ticking all the boxes, the job, the car, the appearance of strength, but inside, you feel hollow, disconnected from the person you are meant to be. You are performing a role, not living a life. This internal conflict is the tension between who you are authentically and who you're told you should be. And that tension is draining your vital energy, the very currency you need to build a life of meaning. This isn't just about your personal struggles, it's deeply rooted in social conditioning. From a young age, we are bombarded with messages about what constitutes a real man. Be tough. Don't cry. Provide. Conquer. These narratives, while sometimes containing kernels of truth about responsibility, often overemphasize external performance and emotional suppression. The idea that you must dress well and groom yourself to be attractive to both men and women, that people will want to know you better if you're a well-groomed man. This highlights how deeply ingrained the focus on external appearance and validation is. Society often values the appearance of success, strength, and control over the genuine internal state. This conditioning creates a powerful current, pushing you towards building that house on sand, because everyone else seems to be doing it. Psychologically, this chase for external validation taps into our fundamental need for belonging and acceptance. We are tribal creatures. Being ostracized was historically a death sentence. This deep-seated need can be easily exploited, twisted into a constant craving for external affirmation that overrides our internal compass. It ties your sense of worth to an external locus of control, meaning your feelings about yourself are dictated by outside forces, what others think, what you achieve, what you possess, rather than an internal locus of control, where your worth is based on your values, your character, and your self-acceptance. You are giving away your power, piece by piece, every time you prioritize external approval over your own inner knowing. But there is an ancient, philosophical truth that offers a different path. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, understood the power of building an inner citadel. This is a metaphorical fortress within your mind, a place where your values, your character, and your peace reside, untouchable by the external world. It's the understanding that while you cannot control external events, what others say or do, market fluctuations, unforeseen challenges, you can control your judgments about them, your reactions, and your internal state. This philosophical perspective aligns with increasing your capacity to handle difficulty and learning to fall forward. It's not about being immune to pain or challenge, but about cultivating the inner resilience to meet it without your fundamental sense of self being shattered. It's about recognizing that your inherent worth is not contingent on external outcomes. This philosophical truth leads to a crucial tactical application, redefining strength. Strength isn't just about physical prowess or financial might. It's about the strength to say no to external pressures that don't align with your values. It's the strength to rest when you need to, even when society screams hustle. It's the strength to be vulnerable, to admit when you don't have all the answers. It's the strategic choice to cultivate your inner world, your mind, your spirit, your emotional resilience, as the primary source of your power. This involves practices like meditation, ensuring enough rest, and taking care of your physical body not just for appearance, but as the vessel for your inner strength. Your energy is a currency. Spend it wisely, investing in the foundation, not just the facade. Let's revisit those initial beliefs, those ingrained ideas about what makes a man. You believe never allowing yourself to go broke and working your ass off is the ultimate measure, that borrowing makes you a slave. You believe good communication is key to external success, never lack food, a job. These are practical skills, yes, but when the sole motivation is avoiding being looked down by other men or ensuring external provision, it becomes a different game. It's like running a race with no finish line, constantly driven by fear of judgment rather than the joy of building, contributing, or connecting. This external focus turns potentially valuable principles into sources of anxiety and a fragile ego, setting you up for disappointment when the inevitable external challenges arise. The turning point. This is where the shift begins. It's the moment you realize the exhausting futility of building your life solely on the approval of others. It's the understanding that you can chase every external marker, the money, the status, the perfect physique, the appearance of having it all together, and still feel profoundly empty if the inner foundation is crumbling. The turning point is the choice. The conscious, deliberate decision to redirect your energy. To stop asking what do they want, and start asking what is true for me. It's a terrifying choice because it means stepping off the well-trodden path, the one society applauds, and forging your own. But remember this: choice, power, freedom. The choice you fear is your path to freedom. It's the power to define yourself, not be defined. Consider the man who, despite immense external pressure to conform, chose to follow his own internal compass, risking disapproval for authenticity. His external path may have looked different, but his internal strength became undeniable. Deepening this tactical shift means recognizing that the provided principles, reading, communication, physical health, meditation, self-education, are not merely tools for external performance, but essential practices for building that inner citadel. Acquiring a good education, but above all, acquire self-education, invest in yourself, and staying well-informed aren't just about being impressive in conversation or staying ahead in the job market. They are about expanding your mind, understanding the world, and developing the critical thinking needed to discern your own path amidst the noise of external expectations. Learning to communicate well isn't just about getting what you want. It's about building genuine connection, expressing your truth, and resolving conflict from a place of clarity, not insecurity. These are acts of strategic self-cultivation, building the internal resources that make you resilient, adaptable, and genuinely capable. The true power. This is the core revelation, the delayed payoff for confronting the discomfort of the external cage. The true power of manhood, of personhood, is not found in the size of your stature, the contents of your wallet, or the approval of the crowd. It is found in the quiet, unshakable knowing of your own worth, cultivated from within. Consider Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, arguably a man with immense external power. Yet, his meditations reveal a constant, daily practice of cultivating inner peace, resilience, and virtue, independent of the chaos of his external world. Or Viktor Frankl, who found meaning and strength in the most horrific external circumstances by focusing on the one thing that could not be taken away, his inner freedom to choose his attitude. This is the contrast. Follow the path of external validation, and you are forever at the mercy of the external world, tossed about by its judgments and fluctuations. Embrace the path of internal cultivation, and you build a strength that endures, a peace that is not easily disturbed. This is where you truly embody the principles of handling difficulty, falling forward, and never succumbing to failure, not because you are immune to external setbacks, but because your sense of self is anchored deeper than circumstance. Taking care of your woman or family, building financial stability, grooming well, these actions gain their true power and meaning when they flow from a place of internal security and genuine care, not from a desperate need to prove something to others. You are enough, right now, without external validation. This is the true power.